We'd never seen a leak, like, I guess it worked. So
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming.
let me put on my do not disturb mode here. There we go.
Cool. Yeah, so glad to see you guys. I made printouts for you guys of the pitch deck. I had to kind of recreate it from my office because you can't do anything on Canva on the work computers. So I was like, that's fine. So the address of the property is 2815 Nighthawk Drive. This is going to be a project summary of it. If you go to the second slide, this is basically what I am asking for and what I'm offering in exchange. So on this specific property, I'm asking for a loan amount of $21,000. That's going to cover the down payment, some of the closing costs, and I'm going to pay whatever's left on the closing costs out of my own pocket. I'm offering 12% flat if exited in 3 months or less, and then 20% flat if exited in 3 to 6. So if I get you out in 3 months, it comes out to about a 48% annualized. If I get you out in 6 months, it comes out to 40. So there's a little bit of like a little bonus for you guys, like on an annualized scale. If I get you out early, it kind of gamifies it for me because I like games.
Yeah.
I'm giving a 6-month balloon, so that means like no matter what month 6 is over, you guys need to be paid out at that time, or I'm in default.
Yeah.
And you'll be secured against the property in a second lien position, so there can be a mortgage in front of you,
Yeah.
and then you'll be behind them.
Yeah. No mortgage takes second position.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So this is the current condition of the property. It's pretty much turnkey. The furnace needs repair or replacement, so that's going to be probably the biggest line item on the renovation budget. There's a downed tree in the backyard from the hurricane. It needs an exterior pressure wash, maybe some repairs to the siding, and then servicing and replacing the HVAC. And there's one room inside the house that has wood paneling, which just needs to get replaced with drywall. To me, like that would honestly like. Just replacing the wood paneling and drywall adds like $15,000 to what somebody wants to pay for the house.
Yeah.
There's additional photos of this QR code, so if you guys want to refer back to it later. So here's the underwriting. So the subject property is a 1,464 square foot single family home. It's 4 beds and 2 baths. The purchase price on it is $115,000. My entry is about $22,000 plus closing costs, right? The as-is value, I always put the purchase price for the as-is value because it's kind of hard to say what's the house worth today if you're going to renovate it. But my honest opinion is that the as-is value is probably pretty close to that ARV, which is the next line down, of $180,000. And if you're not familiar, ARV is just the after renovation value. The estimated rehab budget, I'm putting $20,000 as the rehab budget. I'm not going over that. Like I said, it's a mostly turnkey property anyways. And so the $20,000 is just to allow for miscellaneous items that appear. Primary exit strategy is to sell it on market. Backup exit strategy, if for some reason it sits on market and it's not selling, then I would refinance it out, and it'll rent for about $1,450 a month.
Okay.
And I think my monthly payment after the refi is probably going to sit around $1,100 or $1,200.
Okay.
So I'll be at least breaking even there. DSCR lender will like it. For loan details, the first position is going to be $118,125 is what they're giving me, and that's the purchase price plus renovation costs. So they are reimbursing the renovation costs on the drawback. Your second loan, it says $25,200 there, so that is your principal plus your full payout if I go past 3 months.
Okay.
And so I've accounted for all of that in my loan to ARV at the bottom. So my total loan balance at month like 4 is going to be that $143,325. The estimated equities is kind of like the difference between that and what I think the ARV should be. My combined loan to ARV is 79.6, so that is high. The max I would be able to refinance out is likely about 80%. I can get 80% cash out or 80% rate in term, but I feel confident that I'm reasonably conservative on this ARV, and so. Like the worst case scenario is it gets to be like month 5, it hasn't sold, it's not rented, I need to refinance you out with a bridge loan or something. I go get a loan, it appraises it, let's say it appraises it exactly 180, I have to bring some money to closing. That's like the worst case scenario. other than like I get hit by a car or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's everything on the left side. On the right side, you kind of see it shows what I'm gonna make, and then it just shows what I'm paying for the money, right? So my gross profit is somewhere around 45,000. Based on that's just kind of like purchase price, rental cost, sale price. I'm accounting for closing costs and agent commission there. The closing costs I usually estimate about 3%, agent commission another like 5-6. My holding cost is just the cost of the first position loan if I go for 6 months. It's hard to estimate utilities, so I just plan to not go to 6 months. My net profit, assuming we go for 6 months, this is going to be kind of minus utilities, but my net profit is going to be around $22,000. And so what that means for you as the lenders is that I have 22,000 reasons to make sure that this gets sold, right? My hard money loan rate is going to be 10.99% interest, and the term sheet for that is on the next page. Same loan amount there. My monthly payment, they're not doing it in Dutch, and so what that means is the monthly payment that you see there is if I've used my entire renovation budget, that's what I'm paying. But they're not charging me interest on money that hasn't been drawn yet.
Okay. Oh, cool. It's kind of like a HELOC right there.
Yeah. So that's how a lot of the construction holdbacks work. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. Total interest paid if I hold it for 6 months, it's gonna be $6,500 just about. And then underneath it, you see your loan, flat rate of 20% with I put 4 months there because that's kind of like if I go to 4 months, it's at 20%. So I've estimated kind of worst case scenario here, and that's how we got the loan to ARV of 79.6. Are there any questions on this page?
Who's gonna sell it for you for that 6,300? Do you already have an agent?
Yes. So I have an agent that I've been working with recently. He listed one of my flips, my first one that I had him list for me. He listed it about 3 weeks ago, and we got a full price offer today.
Cool.
So he has sold the most homes in the Augusta area for like the last 3 years in a row. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's extremely efficient. If there's no other questions, the next page, like I said, is just the first position term sheet. So this kind of just lays out like, hey, this is what they're giving me, this is what they're charging me, this is what they're estimating for cash to close. And that's where I got those numbers from on the other page. It's good for you guys as the second position lender to know this because you want to be able to verify like, hey, this is like actually how much is in front of us before our loan gets accounted for.
If the house fails to sell, or if like go with your hit by the car demo, which is a worst case scenario, only the first position gets paid out.
So that's not 100% accurate.
Okay.
So if I'm in default, we can include like a clause in the note that says like, hey, Jack has to send an update every 2 weeks, or he's in default, right? So that way it's like, hey, I'm not talking to you guys for like 2 weeks. You have an opportunity there to like, okay, maybe you got hit by a car. That's unfortunate. We have to protect our money. You would come in and you would foreclose. Georgia's a non-judicial foreclosure state, so you basically have to advertise in a newspaper for like 2 months, and then you take the house. At that time, if you foreclosed before the first position foreclosed, then you would be an owner of a property that has $118,000 owed on it, because that's the first position. And so what you would do is you would just sell it as quick as possible, most likely, or finish the rehab or something like that. Now this first position is really good. They allow second positions on the property, and so like they're not going to flip out if they find out that the property was took by somebody else or something. They're going to be concerned about me, but they're not going to freak out, and they'll work with you. And I'll make sure that you have like their contact information and stuff because they're my favorite.
So in the event of foreclosure, that's what I was talking about. So yeah, you put anything in writing to get around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not making sure you get paid. But it's got to be in writing because otherwise, first position's guaranteed. Second position only if it's in writing.
Well, so the second position is going to be recorded, regardless. But even so, like your original thing was like, okay, if it gets foreclosed on, only the first position gets paid. So if the first foreclosed on me and you guys didn't know about it, the first would foreclose. They would try to do like some kind of fire sale, just get it off their books. You would get paid second, so they would get paid
Yes.
off, and then you would get paid if there's excess,
Exactly.
and then anything more than that would go to me,
Your heirs.
yeah, or
whatever.
estate or whatever
Right.
happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is that.
So it looks like, when was the, I'm sorry, I want to just go back.
Sure.
I don't want to disrupt. You got a nice flow. I appreciate the slides. When was the house built? For a rough age?
It's about a 40-year-old house, I think.
Okay.
50.
Are we pre-lead or post-lead? Like 1985, 1978.
I'm gonna go off on a limb and just say a little bit pre.
Okay.
That just means there's gonna be a lead paint disclosure
Yeah,
in there.
that's all it means.
And that's
Yeah,
gonna be included in
yeah,
all the
yeah.
sales stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
The next page is just I've listed out some comparable sales that kind of support my ARV, and so what you can see is the top two. All three of these are 3-bed, 2 baths.
Yeah.
The top two are short on the square footage relative to the subject property, and those two both sold for 180, and then the third one sold for 183. So we've got 3427 McAlpine Drive, 3411 Kensington Drive, and 3603 Audubon Place.
Mm-hmm.
These are all in like Augusta, but it's all within like the same zip code.
Okay.
And so you can see from the photos there, the bottom two were renovated prior to sale, and then the top one was not renovated. That was as is but well maintained, which is kind of the condition that the subject property is in right now. It's basically as is, but it's been well maintained other than that furnace needing to be replaced and the tree being down. And so that's why I think, like, you know, I put ARV 180, I put as is value 115. I think probably it's pretty close to that 180 right now, and it just needs like a little bit of juice to spruce back up.
Right.
Going to the next page, this is just some kind of final notes about kind of the deal. Close of escrow is going to be 14 April, which is at the end, it's like middle of 2 weeks from now. Closing attorney is Wright McLeod and Evans. I use them for most of my closings. Timeline, based on the really small renovation budget, I'm only expecting it to take about 3 weeks, pending like if the HVAC guy's backed up, then he's backed up.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you already had an HVAC company, because it looks like, depending on when it was done, you're going to have to replace the everything that's external. What's that called?
The unit.
The whole unit.
Yeah.
'cause-
So my project manager that I have on this that's giving me the quotes, he's got everything.
Okay.
I've had him I have him on one right now, and had him run a renovation for me in Martinez that started at the beginning of November. And so I hit Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. He finished a $45,000 renovation in 6 weeks with those holidays in between. Which
Okay.
is exactly, yeah, wow. And that was like doing all, replacing granite or countertops and stuff like that. So very, very confident that 3 weeks, 4 if there's like backed up like furnace people or whatever. At that time, because it's gonna be so fast, I'm gonna kind of take that second to evaluate my exit strategy. I'm gonna check recent sales. I'm gonna check like what things are renting for. It's gonna be the middle of May to the end of May when this gets ready, and so it's like it'll sell quick because it's the time when everybody's moving. Not only does it have close proximity to post, but also it's like the general population moves in this late spring and early summer because that's when schools are out. Nobody wants to move during the school year.
Right.
So it's gonna be a great time to sell. For the same reason, it'll also get rented quickly, most likely. And so at that time, I would kind of evaluate, it's like, okay, if I do the refi, I pull out everything I can, is it really gonna cash flow? Is it just gonna break even? Am I gonna be losing money on a monthly basis based on what things are renting for? And I'll kind of like make a decision at that time, probably, if I wanna go ahead and list it for sale. And I mean, again, worst case scenario, it sits on market for 3 or 4 months, and I'm just like, screw it, I'm putting a tenant in there because I need to get it off my books. If I do move forward with the sale, like I said, we talked about my agent already. His name's Joe Lewis. He's sold the most homes in the Augusta area for like the past 3 years or so. And I'm really expecting a short time on market. Like this one that I just got listed 3 weeks ago and got a full price offer today with the FHA loan. I mean, it's only been listed for 3 weeks. So really, really confident in that number. And then, like I said, if I rent it out, I'm expecting monthly rents to be about $1,450, and I'm expecting my monthly payment to be between $1,100 and $1,200 a month.
Okay.
So that is the pitch, if you will.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, well put together.
Thank you.
It's awesome. I'm looking back on my career and I'm like, man, I missed the boat. Now, granted, I was in Iraq and Afghanistan for a lot of that time, but it's awesome to see you crushing this stuff.
Thank you.
What's the timeline? Like, when do you need the money?
So the money would have to be deposited in escrow like the 13th or 14th because 14th is closing,
Okay.
and that would be when like they're going to go record documents and everything like that. Because I want to make sure you guys are all recorded. I have a couple of like private lenders that'll just like send me the money. I don't want y'all to send me the money necessarily, especially because this is our first deal together. Like at like someday maybe you'll be like, this is too easy to just
Yeah,
send.
I trust you.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the first one, I want you to like feel like I'm taking like above and beyond to carry you.
Yeah.
So I would want you to send the money directly to the closing attorney's escrow account.
Yeah.
That'll be the 13th or 14th. When that gets ready, you'll have your promissory note and the personal guarantee and the note and everything like that to review prior to that, and then I would sign on the 14th.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of what we're looking at. So it's about 10 days out, which
That's not
it doesn't take them very long to write a promissory note. So.
No.
$14th is my birthday.
Happy birthday.
There's something, not yet. I'm older than I am. Still in my 40s for another year. Okay, that makes sense. So the money will get wired to the closing attorney's escrow account. And then the, how do you do it where you draft it up?
What's the contract look like?
Yeah, what's the contract?
Okay,
between
so
us?
what I'll just do is what I normally do is I'll send like it's gonna be a JV agreement, but it's just a memorandum of understanding, like, hey, these are the terms we've agreed upon,
Right.
and then we send that to the closing attorney, and they draft the note, the mortgage, the guarantee, and everything like that.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna, I don't touch those until closing, basically. I'll review them to make sure that we're on the same page and like
Right.
it says what we said it was supposed to say.
Right.
Because sometimes I have trouble writing these kind of like tiered notes where it's like it's 12% if it's 3 months, but it's not annualized, and it's 20% if it's anything beyond that. Again, it's not annualized, and it's a 6 month. Sometimes that just gets a little harder with the verbiage for some reason. But the memorandum of understanding is like, hey, if they wrote it wrong, we are all on the same page. Like, this is what we said.
Right.
So,
Okay, I like that.
yeah. And then when it comes time for refi or sale, I'll reach out to you guys and put you back in touch with the closing agent, the closing attorney, to provide a payoff, and like I'll provide like a template for that as well. Just like, hey, this is how much he owes, and this is the accounting, and it's like, oh, it went past 3 months, so 20.
Okay. And you need just one of us for this song.
So, I mean, it's only $20,000.
Yeah,
So, like,
that's why I
it could be
said
either
just
it could
one of
be
us.
just one of you, or unless you wanted to both have like 10 grand in, it adds like yes, rock paper scissors over it. So just one for this one, but I wanted to pitch it to both of you because
Yeah.
my stuff, it looks pretty similar all the time. I have another one that I just put under contract for like it's a $60K purchase price and probably a $20K reno, and it's similar. It's like $115, $125 for the ARV or so.
Okay.
Real small deal.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a lot of stuff of this size in the Augusta area. I mean, like, especially when you're in Hephzibah, you're in like coming off of Tobacco Road and stuff like that, off of Deansbridge Road, you're hitting like your ARVs are like 250, and so that puts your purchase prices around like 100, 115, 125, something like that.
Right.
Awesome.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, so it's very chewable.
In a personal question, just to learn more myself.
Sure.
Why do you go with, instead of just having the doors available and making that monthly income, why do you go with a sale like that? Just,
Yeah,
this is
so-
another thing that,
So there's like today money and there's tomorrow money.
Right.
I have a goal this year of adding 50 doors to my portfolio. I think we
Okay.
talked about that a little bit.
Okay.
I need today money to fund those other acquisitions.
Yeah, okay.
Because those other acquisitions, especially if it's like this one's pretty turnkey.
Yeah.
But if I'm buying it pretty turnkey and also there's not a ton of like value add to the equity, that puts me in a position that it's hard to get my private lenders like yourselves out of the deal. And so like about half my portfolio right now is owned in partnership with other people.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that. Like I love having partners because the partners that I perform well for, which is all of them, come back onto the next deal, right? But so like these smaller deals, and that's why I'm okay with keeping this one as a rental because it does. I'm not gonna say it cash flows, but it breaks even pretty well, right?
Yeah.
It's very comfortably. And so I would be okay keeping this one as a rental. But I also like I need to get today money to fund more acquisitions of stuff that is like harder to pitch, such as like duplexes in Augusta. They're not going to be as pretty as this. It's impossible to pull comparable sales. There's not enough of them densely enough to say, yes, this is what all the other duplexes are selling for.
Yeah.
Same thing, there's like a 5-plex downtown next to one of my other properties that I want to buy, but it's not pitchable. Like the tax record says it's 1,600 square feet. Well, that's not true, but there's no way to like, without having an appraiser go in there, an inspector go in there, there's no way to know what the square footage is.
Yeah.
And then you start comparing things, it's hard. So that, like the today money that I get from selling stuff funds those acquisitions.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. When do you need a decision from us?
Say again?
When do you need a decision from us? Really?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that this is, so I'll give to you first to make the decision because I'm in the potential where I'm.
You bastard! I wasn't gonna get you anything for your birthday. I'd be like, hey!
Well, so I'm in a potential position where I could be switching jobs and I'm going to go as early as next week. So that'll hiccup, not huge. It'll be a little bit better money, but it'll be a good place for us. But I'm also looking at making an investment in a franchise pretty soon. So that is a little bit closer on the horizon. We could do both, but that's why we give it to you here.
Okay.
It would take a little bit of a decision off of my back, but I say that to say my wife and I both talked about this, and she's excited about this too. So we would like to continue. If he takes this or whatever, I think we want to continue to make, be there as a capital provider.
Absolutely, and as our relationship grows and as we do more deals, I would love to like. I have some lenders that I put them in first position and they're covering like the whole project cost,
Right.
but it's also more secure, right? So I mean, a lot of them are getting 10% flat for 6 months, but they're in first position, so it's much more secure as far as like what's collateralized in their money. So like as we get more comfortable with each other, as I get more deals and bring you guys on more deals, at some point, like I'm gonna say, hey, you guys want to just do a joint first position on this, and then it's cleaner, and also it makes you guys like more safer money.
Yeah.
So the money going to escrow helps me with my wife.
Yep.
Because she's like, how do you know this guy?
Yep.
I'm like, he's an Army captain. He's good for it. She's like, come on, trust
That's
me.
how my neighbor does it too. Like I mean, my neighbor, he'll just like he's a doctor in Columbia. We live up in Graniteville, but he just like we'll just do promissory notes. He'll just send the money to me, which I would like. I've told him like, hey, please tell me you're not doing this with like anybody else. Like swear to God.
So that'll help the conversation with my wife. The 90 to 180 days I got to look in on because I am putting 80 grand into a home up in New Hampshire. But it's that number, this low number, makes this totally doable.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about that. Now I just got to sweet talk her and make her understand there's lawyers, there's escrow accounts.
And the closing attorney's job is to represent the lenders.
Exactly.
They're kind of representing me, but not really. Like that's not their role in the transaction. It's to represent the lenders. So.
Yep. So perfect. So I feel really good about this. I'm gonna look at your comps. I just texted you my email address. Like you to send me a few references that you trust. You don't have to send me a bunch, but like to talk.
Just like
some
past lenders.
Some of your other partners,
Perfect.
lenders. Yeah. Some of your other second position people.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
find out. So, and other than that, you gotta. Who's your general contractor?
His name's Sean Herbst. He owns a home inspection company around
Okay.
here.
Owns a home inspection company.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to be able to Google him and show my
Yep.
wife, like, hey, this isn't a dude in a van, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I'll send you. So I'll send you his
like
his
business,
website.
like, yeah, website.
And, yeah, and then you guys, if you guys are ever doing work in the US, I highly recommend.
Okay, yeah. So I just got my real estate agent license, so I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure I'm with Blanchard and Calhoun now. I want to
Okay.
make sure, because I'm in second position, I'm not actually an owner. I feel pretty good that you don't have to disclose the property is realtor owned at all. I would ask your agent, because I'm just lending you money. You're the owner of the
Correct.
property.
Yes.
So I'm good.
Yeah.
I just have to talk it out loud sometimes to make myself understand it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's your name on the title.
Yeah. It'll be
So-
my LLC that I do.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect. So yeah, the company making it all legit through lawyers. Should make household 6 pretty comfortable.
Mhm.
Then just convince them like, babe, trust me, like this is gonna pay out. This isn't like that other scam I fell for. No.
My wife almost fell for a Facebook Marketplace scam the other day where somebody was offering Maine kitties.
Maine
kitties.
Kitty.
I'm just like,
They don't offer those.
Stop
Those
it.
are sorry, segue, squirrel, but I was reading an article about the business email scams and how, like, with AI, there are now AI models designed maliciously to trick people.
Yeah.
And it's like a $2 billion